Well, 19-year-old arrested on multiple charges after crashing into barriers near the White House. The suspect made threatening statements about the White House at the scene, a law enforcement official told NBC News. A Nazi flag was seized by authorities at the scene. The 19-year-old Missouri man accused of driving a truck into barriers near the White House made incriminating statements that indicated to investigators that he was seeking to harm the president, officials said Tuesday. The driver was Cy Varshith Kandula of Chesterfield, U.S. Park Police said Tuesday morning. The charges against Kandula for allegedly threatening to kill, kidnap, inflict harm on a president, vice president, or member or family member stem from statements he made to multiple law enforcement agencies, according to a Secret Service representative. President Joe Biden was in the White House when the truck crashed outside. Press Secretary Karen Jean-Pierre was said Tuesday. He had met with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy Monday night to discuss the debt limit, but it wasn't clear if Biden was informed of the incident as it unfolded. The Secret Service and Park Police briefed him Tuesday morning, according to Jean-Pierre. He's relieved that no one was injured last night and grateful to the agent and law enforcement officer who responded so quickly, she told reporters. The suspect was interviewed by Secret Service investigators Monday night. The agency representative said during the investigation that also involves United States Parks Police, the FBI, and U.S. Capitol Police. Kandula was further charged with assault with a deadly weapon, reckless operation of a motor vehicle, and trespassing. The U-Haul truck is moved away from Lafayette Park across from the White House. It's just a picture. Authorities said the preliminary investigation indicates Kandula intentionally crashed into the bollards of outside Lafayette Park. A Nazi flag was seized by authorities at the scene of the incident. Cy Varsit, a law enforcement official told NBC News that the suspect made threatening statements about the White House at the scene, quickly detained. This truck did not contain weapons or explosives. As for their reaction, the official said, "I don't think there's any place for Nazi flag or the statements he made." Well, yeah, bold statement, but the white U-Haul truck crashed into the barriers on the north side of Lafayette Square, a few hundred feet from the White House, just before 10 p.m. Eastern. A bystander appeared to capture on his cell phone the moment when the 26-foot U-Haul truck jumped a curb but couldn't fit through the barriers set on the sidewalk. There were no injuries to any Secret Service or White House personnel, and the cause and manner of the crash remain under investigation. What's to investigate? He drove it into. Guglielmi said in a statement posted to Twitter that the truck had been deemed safe by Washington, D.C. police, and that preliminary investigation reveals the driver may have intentionally struck the barriers. The Reuters agency published an image showing a Nazi-style red flag emblazoned with a swastika laid on the ground beside the van. Yeah, so the truck had been seized by officers. I mean, look, this guy was an Indian immigrant. He was 19 years old. It's just embarrassing for the Indian community. Like, first of all, how do you think you're somehow aligned with white supremacy? You're the victim of white supremacy historically. Where does this? I don't understand. How did you think you were white?
It is pretty amazing. Like, I don't even know how that happened.
Well, no. There's a lot of minorities who have this mindset. I've heard of like Hispanics recently having like hate crimes in public where they're like standing up for white supremacy. Like there's a ton of minorities out there who for some reason, I don't know what it is, they think somehow they're aligned to white supremacy, like they benefit from it or something like that. And it's just like, no, you're the victim, dum-dum. You're the one they're using.
It's like a weird Stockholm syndrome where like maybe they've been like taken advantage of by
they're like
whites for so long.
I'm gonna like prove that I'm one of them or something. I don't know. But man, like this is just also I get the feeling he's 19. Maybe he was like, he got into the wrong crowd. Like people like made him like kind of think this way.
Right.
But man, I hope this dumbass gets like 10 life sentences.
I mean, still like, I know like a lot of people are easily like, you know, swayed by like stuff they find on the internet and stuff. But that one is so like, it's just so bizarre because like, to take up for like,
a cause that's definitely not your own.
Right, exactly.
It's so strange to me. It's got to be some sort of like Stockholm syndrome. It kind of reminds me of those like ants that get like a fungus in their head and they just do whatever
Right,
the fungus
the
wants.
Last of Us, like cordyceps ants.
Yeah, it's so weird. And what's also funny to me is like there's so much corruption in India. This guy didn't have the balls to do that over there. Like, you probably could get to one of those politicians easier than you could to an American politician. Yeah, I don't know. It's just hilarious in my mind, but it's also shockingly embarrassing too.
I mean, we were talking yesterday about a couple years ago. There was that black guy who was like adopted by a white family, and I think he was like basically supporting like keeping like the Confederate statues around and stuff. And people were comparing him to that Dave Chappelle character,
Clayton Bigsby. Yeah.
Clayton.
But that one at least makes more sense. Like this guy had 19 years to grow up in another country, or I don't know how long he lived there, but you know he's had time to understand where he's from,
right,
and who he is as a person. Oh man, this is I want them to interview this guy and just really break down what his mindset is.
I mean, it's got to be some sort of like weird social conditioning.
Yeah.
It is amazing too, like you said, like he's not technically the only one. There has been others.
Yeah.
And it is very strange.
Yeah, brown Hispanics, like brown as brown can be, with Nazi swastikas on their arms, like tattoos, like that would confuse those white supremacists. They would look at you and be like, you got the swastika, but you're the person that we hate. Like, what are you doing?
Well, you know, just like
maybe that's their goal, to like not get hate crimed or something, so they become like the perpetrator of the hate crime. I'm one of you guys.
Well, you know, just recently, like, you know, a month ago or so, there was that shooting in, I think it was Allen, Texas.
Yeah,
which, by the way, my cousin was actually at that mall at the time.
Oh.
Luckily, like, you know, didn't get shot or anything, but he was there. But I saw on Twitter, like, some sort of right-wing group was pointing out that that guy had, like, a Spanish name.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, you know, doesn't sound like a white supremacist to me. But then, like, someone online pointed out that, like, you know, neither did these guys that were like Spanish and committed like these kind of crimes. Yeah. So it's like, I didn't know like this was a thing of like people. And I don't know if specifically that shooter in Allen, Texas was Spanish, but he definitely had like a Spanish name. But yeah, apparently it does happen. And it I don't know how it happens, but it happens.
Yeah, it's something that really needs to be studied. I can't wait till like 50 years from now when they have like more research done on these people. Like, it's so weird.
Maybe they're like, they know that they're like, I'm going to end up in prison. Maybe I can get a pass to hang out with like the Aryan Nation.
Yeah,
gang.
maybe that's what it is. Like, they won't kill me if I pretend to be one of them.